First of all, let's start by saying, what is domestic violence?
Yeah, domestic violence is a very unhealthy relationship between two partners, whether it's involving physical abuse, emotional abuse, stalking, texting, coercion, involving certain sexual matters. It is something that usually happens between two partners and just creates a terrible situation where somebody is living in really in great fear a lot of times for their life.
And does it have to, when we say domestic violence, does that mean two people who are married, two people who are living together, or is it other circumstances as well?
Well, fortunately, over the last few years, we have been able to expand that definition, because at one point it was just married people who were married. But we know in these times that relationships extend way beyond just married people, and whether it's people who are intimately having partnerships and together, or that are somehow non-married but are living together, or had a child in common, or cohabitating, some relationship together, cohabitating or not, we've been able to expand that definition. So if somebody were to be involved with this sort of unhealthy relationship, yes, it would fall under that definition.
And Cheryl, as a victim, would you tell us just a little bit about the circumstances
Sure.
for you?
Well, I now call myself a survivor rather
me.
than a victim. One thing I'd like to add to what Sheriff Popkins said is that there is also a lot of abuse in dating relationships, and he referred to it in terms of the texting, the stalking, and one of the things that Sheriff Popkin and others do with the Family Justice Center is work on that very thing, because you're right that the description of what abuse is, whether it's dating abuse or domestic abuse, you know, they kind of overlap. In terms of myself, I was systematically abused in a marriage for almost a decade. And one of the things that I think is a hallmark of abuse is that the man or woman or child who is being abused is afraid to come out, to be public about what is happening, because they are afraid of the stigma of staying in a relationship, whether it be a marriage, dating, or, you know, in some cases, unfortunately, child abuse, elder abuse, because you're afraid to let people know what's actually going on behind closed doors.
And
2008 and 2009, we had some very tragic, terrible domestic violence incidents that were homicides here in Montgomery County. They were involving children and a number of other adult female victims, because in most cases in Montgomery County, as nationally, females are the victims in these cases. And it was a very, very tragic situation. And we knew in Montgomery County, in a county like ours, we needed to do something about it, and do it immediately. So we found a model called the Family Justice Center in San Diego, California, and I sent staff members out there to look at that. They came back so energized about what this has done out in San Diego and that we can do it here. And basically what this does is it's co-located all services that were involving domestic violence in one location in Rockville. And where a domestic violence victim who used to have to navigate through a very difficult governmental system, especially during a time of crisis, it was not efficient. It was not good for the victims who we were trying to help. And so we took all those 40 different locations that were throughout Montgomery County, and we co-located them all into one place.
wow.
So if you're a domestic violence survivor, a domestic violence victim, or you just need to talk to somebody, there was a place in Rockville called the Montgomery County Family Justice Center that you can come to, and you can receive services there. And that is everything from speaking to an immigration attorney, to speaking to a Montgomery County Police detective if it's a very serious case, to just speaking to a therapist, making it long term. If there's children that have been witness to this, we have a very thorough therapy program for children there as well. And then not to mention that I have numerous staff there that handle all of the protective orders and the restraining orders. This is a place that is safe, it's a safe environment, and we will go over every bit of detail of what somebody needs to actually get out of that dangerous situation. Because I know, and data has told me, that if we can get somebody in there and we can get court intervention, we're going to change somebody's lives. So we're going to change somebody's life and really make a difference in someone's lifetime in Montgomery County.
Yeah. That's amazing, and it seems so common sense. I wonder why that isn't a standard in all counties or in all states. Is it spreading? Is that concept spreading, or is this so unique that San Diego and Montgomery County are the only ones?
It has to do with the person's decision to want to be able to leave. There's a statistic that says it takes on average 7 times for an individual who is being abused to actually make the final cut and go. And I can tell you that's true. And you know, it's really hard, as the sheriff said, it's really hard because a lot of times one of the things that happens is the woman, and usually it is a woman, is economically dependent upon the person that she is either married to or in an intimate partnership with, and is afraid to go. She's embarrassed to talk with friends and family. There might be stalking involved. And, you know, again, what goes on inside these houses or what goes on in schools and dating, whatever, we don't necessarily know about. So it's incumbent upon friends and family to look for the signs, to know what it is that is one of the points about domestic abuse or any kind of abuse, so that you can be a non-judgmental person there to help in case that individual wants to talk at some point, and not to be mad if that person is not ready to go.
If you suspect anything in your friends or relatives, physical abuse, verbal abuse, constant criticism, the things will be hopefully on the screen as you're watching this. There is help, there is a place to go, so please don't stay in a situation where you feel that you are not safe. Please remember, if there is an emergency situation, always just dial 911. For assistance 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, the National Domestic Violence Hotline is 1-800-799-SAFE, which is 7233. For more information,